Well, it's October 7th, 2021. It's the morning update. Let's talk about just things we need to think about here. Zooming out is to get the perspective. This count's still on the table. We're still watching to see if this is a potential play or not. Don't know if it is or not. We do have it is pretty overbought here on the 4-hour chart, and could could be coming down. Could be coming down still. Um, Is it going to come up and make a higher high first and then come down? I don't know. It's always the smaller time frame moves that are impossible to know. You just have to watch and be careful and trade the higher time frames. But that being said, watch here for a expanded flat here. Okay, so we know that's a potential count here down to this region. Okay. We'd look for a 3-wave down, 3-wave up, and then 5 waves to the downside is what we'd be watching for. Now, let's go to the smaller time frame and look at it and see if there's any evidence for this thing to come down, or if this is going to looks like it's going to make a higher high. Two-hour time frame. I've got this trend line that I've drawn here. Okay, um, we haven't broken it. You might consider drawing this line here from there to there. And we haven't broken that one either. There's a third line you can draw, which is right there, and you see we're testing it right now. I don't know. Obviously, the lower lines with more touches are more important than this one up here. But you'll notice that we do have, from this peak to that peak, we do have divergence there on the 2-hour chart. So that's something of note, something to note. Divergence happens between the fourth and the fifth wave. Okay, so if this is the fourth here, and this is the fifth, that means we have what we call an extended fifth wave, and it could be indeed done. You'll see that divergence also still playing on the 1-hour chart as well. Okay, getting rid of these other two lines here. This line goes all the way back here, and we're hitting on this line right here. We're hitting right on that line. We're threatening to break it or to bounce back up. Now, if it bounces back up here, it's fine. Okay, chances are it's not going to make a higher high. It's just going to bounce up and then maybe take the high out. Okay, create divergence between these two peaks, and then go down. So that's a plausible idea there, that we're going to just come up, break the high, and then come on down. And it might give us that flat, and it might give us just a 3-wave pullback. So in other words, it could simply come up here and then come down in 3 waves, or do any number of complex things, something like that even. And if it does all of that, keep in mind that's kind of a bullish structure, because the RSI would probably come down and reset doing something like that. It would probably end up coming down like that. And that would create a bullish divergence on the 1-hour chart. That's possible. So the key is we need to watch and see if it's going to come down and correct. That's the first if. And I think there's enough evidence in the 1-hour chart and the 2-hour chart that we're in a correction, that it's got more to go, most likely. But where and how it goes, we need to pay attention, because that'll give us a clue whether it's going to continue up or come down. Because basically, we either get a complex correction up here, okay, some kind of a series of waves that are complex, up in this region, and the price doesn't move a whole lot. But the RSI does move, and it comes down eventually on a final, usually on a final hit. Or price starts coming down impulsively. All right. So how does price come down if it comes down? That's the key. You got to pay attention to the wave structure, the wave type that it makes. And so we're kind of left waiting on to see what we're going to get. Draw this line. Okay, if you get a break of that, that's going to be significant. A significant break in structure. Okay, draw that line. 15-minute chart. On the 15-minute, we've had kind of a break of structure to the upside. So that means on the small time frame, there's a chance this thing goes up. Again, maybe goes up and breaks this high. So we might get impulsive and come on up and break this high. But what that would do is it'd give us a chance to get divergence on all the time frames. We'd come up here, probably wouldn't make a higher high in the RSI, but hopefully we'd get up here to overbought. This thing gets up here oversold like this. Who knows how it's going to happen, guys? Something like that, right? We get some kind of a three-wave move there. We'd probably expect some kind of impulse. Now, if that happens like that, there's a good chance this thing continues going up. Unless this thing right here turns into some kind of five-wave move. If it goes up in kind of a three-wave, it's hard to tell because what was this move right here? And then what is this? We know this is 3 so far. That's pretty clear. But what is that? That looks like 3. But there's not a lot of clarity to it. Excuse me. That looks like 5 waves there. Up in 3. That looks like 5. Now this is where they got a little shenanigans last night because that looks like a 5-wave move. But if you look a little closer, see this little move down here? What is that? Yeah, this looks like a 5-wave move. So that's kind of a shenanigans wave. Because the way this was looking right here, this is 5. We're looking for 3 back, and we go on our way. But they just kind of kept taking it down. Is that a triangle, guys? Wouldn't see it if I didn't have the 30-second chart on there. Is that a triangle? Who knows what a triangle means? It's a good teachable moment here. If that is a triangle.
continuation up, maybe a fourth.
Well, triangle means it's a fourth, but it doesn't mean continuation up. Yes, it will go up, but what does a triangle really signify? You're not completely wrong, but you're not hitting on what I want you to hit on. Yes, a fourth. Yes, an up move, but I wouldn't call it continuation. Because by continuation, we mean you keep going, but that's not what triangles signify.
End of a move, step
Y-
away from it.
Yeah, that when we get an up move, it's the last move. It's not really a continuation so much, but it is a. And I might be playing semantics with your words, so don't let me be a. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I do want to hit on the idea that this is the last move. So if that's a triangle, there's only one more hit. So if I had to guess about what this wave is, okay, I've got I've got a a wave up, a wave down, and then I've got one, two, three. Maybe this is four. Maybe if it's a triangle, one more hit to the high. That's five. Would you guess if this gets one more hit? Would you guess that this would be impulsive or corrective?
It's correct. It looks like an ABC.
I agree. So then I might expect then this thing to go down. And that's good for me because I'm in a short, excuse me, I'm in a long. I was thinking it was going to come up and make a higher high. But this wave structure seems to be denying that possibility that it is more likely for this thing to come up, make this little high, maybe at the 1414 or the 1618 here, and then come back down. That seems like a more plausible idea, which might lend itself to we might be going down, guys. We might have hit our top, and we might be heading down from this area, from this zone. Okay, that we got a 5 wave move right here. I know this doesn't look like 5 waves, but remember the 1 and the 2 are in the wick, right? And then this is the 4 and the 5. So there's 5 waves. We got a 3 wave pullback, and now we got another 5 waves and another 3 wave pullback. Then another 5 waves, and now a 3 wave pullback. That's kind of like a series of 1, 2, 1, 2, and then this might be followed by another move to the downside. So it's good for me to see that because it's kind of letting me know most likely this move is going to end right here. Once this last leg to the upside is done, I'm going to go ahead and cut my long, break even, or just for some little bit of profit, which is a successful trade, right? We never know which way the market's going to go. We give it a go. I was looking at the idea that this was actually part of a larger structure here that we were going to get. So I personally was looking at this as a flat right there, and that we were going to get an upward move here. And I thought we got a 5 and a 3. I thought we were going to get another upward move, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, but it didn't play out. So right now, we're sitting at my entry, roughly. I was a little early on this wave right there, a little early, 1 wave too early. But I was like, that's no big deal. Until it came back on me last night, and I was still thinking it was going to turn up. But now that this wave structure is here and showing me what it's showing me, I'm inclined to I'm going to close the trade down once this wave is finished. Everybody understand that logic there? And as far as right here, why that looks very, very much like a triangle. Now it may or may not be a triangle. That's the kicker. That's the hard part of it, right? Right now it's acting like a triangle, and this could be A, B, C, D, E. We're getting a final wave to the upside. Now, if it's not a triangle, it'll keep on going and we will get that continuation. It was just a running flat or something like that. Okay, remember a triangle can also be in a B wave or an X wave. Okay, so if this is an X wave, then we had a finished. This is a possibility I'm thinking about. 3 wave up, 3 down, 3 up. It's a W. This triangle's X could give you a Y. I don't believe that count as much as I believe the other, as this is a fourth instead of a X, but it's just something to consider. I'm not inclined to that count. So really, I don't have a whole lot more to say other than we just looking at the very small time frame, trying to figure this wave out. Is that all I'm getting? I got little 5 waves there. Is truncated? Is that it? Is that it? Is that all I'm gonna get? That's cheesy. But there is 5 waves that came out of that, which is what we're looking for. Now this could be a 1, 2, and it could become a bigger 5 waves, and that's possible as well. We didn't break that high. I would like to have seen that high get broken. So this would be nice to see. That would be fine. That would be fine. So what would that be correcting? If it's correcting something, what would it be correcting? Again, just trying to figure out on the small time frame what this is, because at the end of the day, this wave is going to go up or it's going to go down, right? And there's really nothing to do but to wait for it. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any clues in the wave structure, whether you know there's something tradable here, and if we can figure out the next wave. Um, because we do have, remember, on the 2 hour chart and the 1 hour chart, we've got these trend lines that we're ready to break. And we've got the divergence on the chart as well with it's also overbought. So it's overbought with divergence in the 2 hour. We've got this intermediate trend line right here on the 2 hour that we're threatening to break. Are we going to come up first and then down, or is it just going to come on down? So that's why I'm just paying attention to that small time frame triangle there. It looks like all you're getting. Let's see here. Kind of cheesy, isn't it, guys? Broke up, made a triangle, broke up to the upside, uh, barely. Didn't even break the high. That was kind of shenanigan-esque. But well, there it goes. Now, it still remains to be seen whether it's a triangle or not. In fact, I'm looking at it now in a different way. And this is the interesting thing about WXYs is they look triangular. But if you simply look at that as three waves right there, see it differently now? See how that came up in three waves instead of, so that's not necessarily a triangle. It's a three-wave move. Does that help your brain see it differently? And then we can pull the fibs like this. So this is either a three-wave move down like so, or it's going to continue down as an impulse. That's a 1-2 or an AB with a C wave, or a 1-2 with a 3 wave. That we're going to get a further impulse to go. What you think is more likely? Looks like we're going to get a little bit more down here. Probably down here to the 127. If this is three waves up and this becomes a three wave down, what would we expect to be next? Could be another three wave to the upside. Again, just dreaming here with you, trying to figure out, what these waves could be. So either this is impulsing to the downside or it's correcting to the downside and it'll go back up. You guys starting to see the three wave move. Those of you who are just learning Elliott, you see that potential three wave? See how I've got the fibs measured here? Let me get rid of the larger fibs. So I've got the fibs measured here. I pulled the, here, let me go ahead and pull the fibs here. Nice and big. I'll get it nice and big so you can see how we pull the fibs. So we're going to measure the first wave by first click at the beginning to the second click. We just measured that wave. Now we're going to compare this wave to it. So we're going to put the third click at the beginning of that wave. We're going to compare this wave and this wave. And this wave's length as it compares, this one's longer by 0.276%, or 27%, I should say. So this wave is 127% longer than that. And that is a ratio that when you see the third wave somewhere underneath or between the 1-to-1 and the 1,618 relationship between the first wave, then that's with some high probability a corrective wave. Particularly if this wave continues to go up, we'll have some good confirmation that that was a corrective wave, that this was simply an A, B, C, with the implication that the wave direction is going to continue to go up. Now, if this wave rolls over and comes down here, that's fine too, because this is part of the corrective pocket. This could come even down here, and that's fine because this is part of the corrective pocket. However, once we start getting past here, we start thinking this is maybe not a corrective wave anymore, but more of an impulse wave, because when we have an impulse wave, the third wave gets beyond the 1618 and it starts getting more extended than 161%. And we start thinking of this as a 1, 2, and a potential third wave, which would correct in a fourth wave move and then continue on with a fifth wave to create an impulse. So that's the difference between an impulse and a correction. And we got a lot of new guys in the group, and that's, part of the lessons you'll be taking in the this is information in my course, in my educational videos that I teach that. And you need to be going through that and understanding the difference between what an impulse wave looks like as it's being made and what a correction looks like as it's finishing. As this thing has finished, it appears much more like a correction than an impulse wave. Why? Because this third wave has stopped at the 127, and it appears that we have a reversal now to the upside. This is reversing, particularly if we get a pullback and then a continuation. That's going to confirm that this was indeed three waves, and that's going to also confirm the direction as being up. However, if this stops right here and this continues down and breaks that low, that means this wave was a fourth wave, a wave 4 in our impulse, and we're going to get a fifth wave, at least of this move, which could come back and continue like that. So place your bets. One, two. See, I don't see 5 waves in here. I see basically 3 waves, and this is coming back down. So you see how this has come back and broken that low. So this didn't reverse yet. Hasn't given us the reversal. But we could still get, this could be a fifth wave, because in the C wave, we're looking for 5 waves. So we could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth wave it's making right now, which looks very good. I mean, I know we're on the 5-second chart, but you can count the waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good potential. This just goes up from here. Now, this fifth wave is finishing here. Going to be finishing soon. And that will get a reversal back to the upside. If it continues to impulse to the downside, then obviously this idea is incorrect, and we could be getting more of an impulse to the downside than we are getting a corrective wave. So this is a plausible count. We'll see if it plays. I'm just doing this with you live. just to help you think about Elliott wave and rules and how we track waves as they're being created. And this is good practice to do on the very small time frame, because we can apply Elliott wave rules and get immediate feedback. Because you can practice Elliott and get immediate feedback. You don't have to wait for hours to see if you're right or not. You can just look right here and decide how it's looking. But this is a very impulsive wave to the downside. Is that surprising? Not at all. Why? Because the C wave of an ABC is an impulse. It's a 5-wave impulse. So we expect it to be impulsive. Okay? But the third wave of a move is also impulsive. See how I have my overall fibs here, and now this has kind of started to get beyond the 1618 now. We're starting to move beyond where I would expect a corrective wave to end and then turn around. So this isn't looking as good anymore as a corrective wave as an ABC. It's starting to appear like a 1, 2, 3. Now, again, the market, it can go to the 1618 and it can even go past it. But if it goes much more past it down here, then we're going to stop thinking of this as a 3-wave move. See, there you go. Boom. It's getting very impulsive very quickly. And so no longer am I going to look at that as a potential corrective wave anymore, but rather it's this is an impulse to the downside, making a lower low. Now, if that's a corrective wave, it's what we call really extended wave. But again, the likelihood of that is not high anymore. Wow, that thing came down fast. Very impulsive wave. So what is that wave doing in this system here? What's happening in the grand scheme of things here? It's looking pretty impulsive, isn't it? On the 1 hour, we have just broken our structure, haven't we? Okay, I'm just watching this to see what kind of wave it's doing, how it's acting here. I'll pull my overall fibs on this thing. Five, 3. Is that some kind of an ending diagonal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that? Or is this the beginning of a larger impulse to the downside? We broke out a structure. Now they're just retesting on the smaller time frame. This came down, broke out here. Now they're retesting. They're going to continue down, or are they going to come back up with it? Which one do you think? Is that a shenanigan wave? Or is that really telling the direction down? This is the 1 minute. Look how oversold we are. And there is divergence, but it's pretty significantly oversold, but it is the 1 minute chart. See how they came back up to the range and then bounced back off of it rather than went back up into it? It lends more credence to a potential continuation move to the downside. Well, we'll see. So we pay attention to these small time frame waves here to see what kind of waves they are. Are they impulsive or corrective? What's a correction look like? Well, it looks like 3 waves and then continuation down. That's what corrections look like. Impulses will look like 5 waves to the upside. How do we tell the difference between an impulse and a correction? You pull the fibs as that wave is being created. Now that might be all the correction you get, and this might continue down. But this is pretty, well, on the 1 minute, it's pretty oversold. So seeing the shape of this wave, so I'm going to pull the fibs on this and watch the corrective pocket. Who's learning right now, and you can tell me what the corrective pocket is? You're kind of a newbie, but you're learning what the corrective pocket is. Anybody out there that fits that description and bold enough to answer?
Well, I don't know.
Well, that's always a fine answer. I love the honesty of it. I don't know answer. That's a good answer. The corrective pocket of a corrective wave is going to be between the 786 and the 1618. And as I just explained, if this wave comes up in 3 waves and reverses from there, okay, that means it will come up into the corrective extension pocket of a corrective wave, a 3-wave correction, which means we get continuation with the impulse wave. However, if this wave continues through the corrective pocket and extends beyond it, it's much more likely that this is an impulse to the upside. See how this has come to the 786 and now we're getting some rejection? So we pay attention to that. Say, it looks like 3 waves. It's getting rejection off the 786, which is just at the beginning of the corrective pocket. That right now this could be a 3 wave that's now getting rejected. This could simply be the beginnings of a larger impulse wave. So if this wave continues to push its way through, then we're going to look at this as an impulse wave, and the direction then, if this starts impulsing, the direction is up. However, if this proves itself to be a corrective wave, the direction is down. And that's the importance of watching this wave, to kind of know, you'll get to know the direction of the next wave. Now, keep in mind, there are subwaves of this previous wave, right? So just because it's a corrective wave doesn't mean it's going to go down forever. It just means that the next wave is down. It's just helpful when you're watching a wave to watch on the small time frames to see what kind of wave is created. If you're watching on a high time frame, all it looks like is a wick and you don't know what it's doing. But if you can watch on the minuscule time frames, like the 15-second, you can really see the wave shape. And you can understand and get a better sense for what kind of wave this is. Right now, this looks very much like a three-wave move. There you go. It's now starting to impulse. Okay? You see that? See how the characteristics of that wave just kind of changed right there? And so that's good to watch. So now we're at the top of the corrective pocket. This thing needs to reverse here. If this is simply going to be a three-wave move, it should be reversing about here. And if it doesn't reverse here, but it keeps pushing through, that's letting me know we have a reversal. We're getting an impulse reversal. Any three-wave pullback you get is an entry to go long. But you see how we've stopped at the 1618 here, and now we're getting some rejection here? So that doesn't mean it's rejected, and it could just be a small pullback, and it keeps going. But if this thing keeps coming back down here, breaking these levels down here, then it's going to be confirmed that this was pretty much just a three-wave move, most with the highest likelihood. However, if this thing again continues to impulse this way, then we have a potential reversal, three-wave pullback, and you can long the next wave. Any questions about that? So right now this is looking somewhat impulsive, but again, we need to see this get up here and get to impulsive levels. It's right. I mean, it's just like one of those waves that it could go either way right now. But as fast as this wave went down, and then as fast as this thing has now recovered, it lends me to think that this was maybe a shakeout, but maybe not. Because we have only hit the 1618 right now. If this continues down and breaks out of this box, then we're going to go down more. If you're long, you should cut it. If it breaks out of this box down here, starts breaking these levels, you shouldn't be holding along. If you wanted a low risk short entry right now, now's the time to go short if you want a low risk entry. Right? This has stopped at the 1618. You've got rejected. It tried to go up again. It's going down some more. It's showing signs that it could be going down. So you enter short right here at price, where the price currently is. Where's your stop? Right up here. If it comes back up here, you're out. You're like, nope, that ain't it. That's a low risk short entry. Because your stop is so close. That's what makes it so low risk. Doesn't mean it's going to work out for you. It just means it's a low risk short entry. Means that the risk to try the short is not much. If you lose, you're not losing that much. And those are the kind of trade, entries we look for. We look for low risk. What are you, as far as on this chart, what are you risking? You're risking this much to gain something out, at least this much, right? Is that a good risk reward ratio, JP? Are you still here, buddy? No, he's not here. Anybody else? Is that a good risk-reward ratio?
Yep. Like a 4-to-1, 5-to-1.
Yeah, minimum, yeah. What if that thing just keeps going down from there? Oh, man, what an entry, right? So that's why we draw the fibs as a wave is being created. We try to ascertain its nature by the way it acts around the fib levels. Okay? This isn't confirmed yet, but it's looking a lot more like this was a simple ABC. My only problem with that, I didn't have a great 5-wave count, but I do see a wick there that but I don't have a great 5-wave C wave. But this could be a WXY as well. 3 waves in A here, 3 in B, and then 3 in C. I saw that, Silent Bob. Yeah, definitely a good risk reward. He answered on the text there. So, and this is starting to look like it's the beginnings of an impulse, that it may start dropping off here in a second. Now keep in mind, and this is where things get a little complicated, but they can complex things up, can't they? If that was a 3-wave to the downside, they could continue on. That's what makes this trading game hard. You don't know what's coming. This could just turn into a 3-wave move to the downside right here. I could pull the fibs on that, and I could tell you right now it's sitting at probably the 127 or the 1414. It's close to the 1618. But that might just be a 3-wave move down, and you could be getting something like that. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that that's where things can really get complicated. Or you could be looking at some kind of like a 1-2-1-2. Now, again, I'm not inclined to that right now with as deep as this is coming. But the 1-2-1-2 doesn't get invalidated till right here. So if this comes down and breaks that, that's giving you more confidence it's going to continue down. So I'm going to pull the fibs on this wave and just kind of look at it for a second. We're sitting right at the 1618. We've wicked it. And you're getting a little bit of, generally at the 1618, we'll get some kind of a reaction, even if it's just a little reaction and then continuation down. But this could be a 3-wave move here. That's why we enter close to the stop as we can, and if it comes back up and takes your stop out, you've only lost a little bit. That's why we don't enter way down here, because then our risk is higher. I mean, you still can. It's not high risk trade. I'm just saying that you try to get as close as you can. If you entered here where I said, "Hey, this is a potential short," you get as close as you can to the stop. That way you're giving a trade a go, giving it a chance to go your way with as small of a loss as possible. Now again, we're dealing with a 15-second chart right now, the 1-minute chart. So you got to understand what time frame we're on, but we're not necessarily trading that small of a time frame. We're looking for entry on that time frame. We're looking for characteristics of the wave. Okay? Looking for characteristics of these waves to give us some indication what we think the wave might be. Is it an impulse to the downside? or is it is it a corrective wave? And we're going to go up again. It's looking more and more the way it continues to form like it wants to go down. But now you're getting a little bit of a so it's hard to tell right now. We're in limbo. But this is the kind of, and I'm doing this think out loud with you just to give you a sense for this is how you need to learn to process the wave structures as fast as you can so you get a sense for which way this wave is going to go without guessing. You're actually saying, well, the wave structure is really pointing one way or the other. So this still could be a three wave to the downside. This could be the beginning of an impulse to the downside. Again, there's all kinds of things this could be still. You see how this just continues on all the different time rates? See this could be a three wave. So you know what I could do there, right? What could I do to watch that wave? I can measure that one. Okay, we're sitting at the 786. If this wave starts to get beyond the 1618 up here, that's going to be some pretty decent confirmation that this is starting to impulse to the upside after a three wave correction. This is, if it gets up here, I can cut my trade earlier, right? If I'm short. If you want to go long here, you can go long here. You go long right here, put your stop right there. There's your risk. Here's your reward. See that? That's a great risk to reward, isn't it? Just as you think about it. And then you just apply this skill and you apply this practice on every time frame. You get two waves formed and it starts making a third, measure it. If it looks corrective, trade the reversal. If it looks like it's part of a third wave, then you can trade with it. And the sooner you get in the trade, so if you had gotten in down here or right here to go long, the closer your stop is. Your stop is right here or here. So and then you got all that reward. It's just a simple trade setup. Over and over and over. You can apply it on every time frame. And what you can use the RSI to give you a bent for which way you think the market needs to go. On the 1 minute time frame, it looks like the market needs to traverse to the upside. So I'd be more inclined to an upside count on the 1 minute chart than I would be to the downside. Now, it doesn't mean it can't come down. It could totally come down. And so the RSI only gives us some clues, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's, because we know that they can take this down again, create a lower low and create divergence. They can bring this thing down. But regardless, we just came out of we hit oversold here really deep. And we hit it again really deep. So one might think we'd be heading up. And that maybe the long is more likely. This box right here, remember, is my corrective pocket of this larger wave. So I haven't really broken out of it yet, but it's pretty good idea that it's probably going to come down the way this wave is looking right now. This looks like a three-wave pullback and then potential continuation. Now, again, they can get tricky on you. They can do like 1-2-1-2s and continue up. That's where the 1-2-1-2s get tricky. But that's just part of the market. That's why we set stops. Okay, so the way this is looking, 1-2 to the downside right now. So it looks until that high gets broken. If that high gets broken, then that's not 1-2 to the down. This is a pullback, and we're getting another wave to the up. See, a 1-2 is valid until the origin of the one wave gets broken. So this is pretty confirmed right now, as far as I can tell, as a 3-wave move. The only thing they can do right now to make it more complicated, well, it's not yet confirmed, but it's fairly confirmed. It'll be confirmed once this low gets broken, right there. But it looks really good for a 3-wave, and then the direction looks like it's down for now. Watch it start impulsing pretty quick here, maybe. Once it breaks out and reveals what it is, it'll go fast. Okay, now we have something called a flat working, maybe. So this is where we have to understand how the market moves. We got 3 waves up. This looks like 3 waves down, and now we're getting an impulse to the upside. So now what that is, see how this kind of broke this structure, or came down 90% or 100%? So now we're getting a 3 wave to the up, a 3 down, and now a 5. So I'd be looking at this as a flat. So I'd pull the fibs, and that's what I said. The market can get complex on you. It's not always simple. So now I'm going to pull the fibs on this and watch these levels. What would we expect to happen once price reaches the corrective pocket of those? We'd expect price to reverse after a flat. If that indeed is a flat. Now here's something tricky. Y'all doing okay? Is this too complex for you? Oh, is this helpful? I don't know. I can stop, or I can keep rocking.
Keep rocking.
Okay. So I'm looking at this as I'm just trying to see if there's any alternate counts to the upside. What could that be? Maybe. Instead of a 3-wave move that I called it. I just kind of drew arrows on it. What would that be? Could that be? Anybody can answer that one.
Diagonal.
It could be a leading diagonal. We just got a 3-wave pullback. Is that a valid 1-2? Did this 2 break the low of the 1? It did not. So it's possible that that's a leading diagonal with a 2-wave. This is still potential to go up. So that's why we pull the fibs on this structure. Because where this comes up is going to let us know what it is. If it starts impulsing past this 1618, then it's going to be more impulse to the upside. If it rejects off the corrective pocket, okay, it's going to be more of a 3-wave move that we would expect to go down. So we watch the wave on the small time frame and see what shape it's made and try to get a bead on the type of wave that it is, the fastest that we can get, so we can trade with it as quickly as possible. But it's not always simple because they make these complex structures. And that's why you have to learn what those complex structures are, what the wave counts are, how they measure. You have to learn all that stuff. See how we've hit the 786 and almost the 1-to-1, and we're kind of getting a rejection wave. That may not be a complete rejection. That may just be a pullback. And this could be a 1-2. Okay? So nothing is valid. This is not valid as a completed correction until that low gets broken. And it's looking like they want to break it. But it always kind of looks like that till the end, and then they'll reverse it with a big green candle. So it's hard. You can't really be certain, but that looks like a flat there. This is looking very, very impulsive to the downside, and that's what flats do. They make you think there's a reversal to the upside, but then they reverse on you fast. But again, it's not valid until this low gets broken. It's not clear. This could be a leading diagonal 1-2, and now this could be a 1-2 until this low gets broken. When that low gets broken, you can't have 1-2, 1-2 anymore. It'll confirm it as a three-wave move. It'll be confirmed. That's why you have to know the rules of an impulse. That the two-wave cannot retrace beyond the origin of the one-wave. So if you get something like this, a three-wave move up, and then it starts coming down, you're thinking, oh, this is going to go down. Because it looks like a three-wave. It came to the 1-to-1 extension, and now it came down really fast. But then before it breaks this low, it'll go up on you again like this, and you're like, what just happened? It looked like a three-wave, and what it was a 1-2, 1-2. That means you're getting a really big wave to the upside. So if this is a 1-2, 1-2, we're going to get a really big wave to the upside here shortly. It'll be that big. And if you zoom out, this could be a big three-wave move overall. Something like this. Or something else. They're milking this region here because this makes the difference, all the difference in the world. This is going to tell the tale where this wave is going. As it stands right now, this could be 1-2 to the downside. Okay? Or this could be 1-2 in the beginning of the next wave to the upside. We're in the middle right now. We're in the middle range. It's a big I don't know burger. And that's what happens like on the larger time frames where the price is. We're just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go up or down because I can count it either way. It's an I don't know burger. And we never like those kinds of waves, but sometimes that's all we get. At the time that we're doing lives, at that moment, you just need more information. Once I get more information, then I'll have an idea of where we're going.
You time your lives so very well.
Oh, well, I don't like to get I don't know burgers.
No, I mean you're like this isn't nothing was really happening for a minute. You're like seems like gonna be a short one, and the next thing you get the drop right during your life.
That's cool though, because then I can it's a teachable moment. It's kind of, hey, let's analyze this wave as it's being made, and let's predict it. Let's practice Elliott rules over and over and over. I haven't done anything special here. just skills with Elliott and fibs that you just apply, and you do it over and over and over, watching that wave develop. And you notice I've been individually doing it on each individual wave as it's being made. Like right here, I could pull the fibs on this little wave right here. I need to get bigger so I can do it. But I'm on the 15-second chart, and I can pull the fibs on this little wave right there. And you see how we've come to the 1414 and we've gotten some rejection? Right now, what are you inclined to believe that wave is? Right now, this rejection makes it look like this is a corrective wave and that it's going to go down. However, if this is just a small rejection that gets eaten up by another wave to the upside, then what are you going to think about that wave? Instead of this being a 3 wave, what are you going to think about it now? It's more of an impulse, isn't it? Once it gets past the 1618. So that's 1618 area is key. See how over and over and over this corrective pocket comes into play, and the market will react at that area on every wave. Every wave. Look at this wave right here. See how we had 3 waves here? Came down to the 1414, almost tagged the 1618, and then reacted. But when the market starts pushing past the 1618 with some intensity, you say, okay, now we got direction. Now we've got, we know which direction we're headed. So, right now, I'm going to pull the fibs on this wave right here. That one and this one. I want to see price. We haven't even gotten up to the 786. We haven't broken this high yet. So I want to see this high get broken, and I want to see us get past this 1618 up here. And if we start getting past this 1618 up here, that's going to be good news for upside. If we reject here, come down, again, that's going to be more likely to the downside. So we can't speak too soon right now, because what do we got here? That's 3 waves. This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. When does that 1, 2, 1, 2 get invalidated? When this 2 wave breaks the origin of the 1. This is the second 1, 2. So if this comes down and breaks this, then we got a confirmed 3 wave move. This will have confirmed itself to be 3 waves. All right, they're showing their hand now. So this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. Most likely, this is going to be a big wave to the upside. It's a long entry for me right now. That's the high likelihood. Now, it's the 15-second chart, so keep in mind, right? But to me, their hand, they've shown it. It's just a matter of time they're going to start working their way up. Where's my stop? This low right here. Just below it, maybe give it a little bit, tiny bit of room, but I don't think it needs the room. But it might be wrong, because the market can do whatever it wants. But to me, the market's shown its hand. Okay, so now I've got some confirmation on this particular wave here that this is probably going to go up impulsively. So let's move back to the previous wave. And let's pull the fibs on this wave now. So our flat, guys, the flat that we were looking at got invalidated. And I'm more inclined now to look at this as a leading diagonal with a three-way pullback, and this is a 1-2. And so if this is a 1-2, then I'm looking for a wave like this. 1, 2, at least 3, but probably 3 up here, 4 and 5. But that's just of the subwave count of this middle third wave. Just an idea. May or may not be right. We'll see. If I'm looking, because there's some other complicated ways I could look at that wave, but I think this is. So now I'm going to pull the fibs on this wave right here, and I'll say this is 1, 2. This wave that I just counted here is the third wave, 4 and 5. So I would guess that this wave is coming all the way up here with some pretty decent certainty. So now I'm going to go back to this wave right here, pull the fibs on this move. And we could have a W, X, Y, or an A, B, C that simply comes, so it could be just a larger three-wave move that comes up here to the one-to-one extension, or something like that. I don't know. Or it could impulse higher. It could go up impulsively to higher. All right. So let me see if there's any other way to look at that. By the way, if you took that long when I called it down here, where's your stop now?
Break even.
Yeah, it's at break even. You got a free trade at this point. Costs you nothing to be in this trade now. I'll take questions if you got them. Do y'all see why it's important to be able to measure waves? To pull the fibs on a wave? To know what you're dealing with? And if you can spend some time and do some work on a wave like we just did, you can really track with what the wave is doing and then have some confidence for trades. Now, the market always finds a way to screw me up anyway, even no matter how good I think I am, right? Like, for instance, here's a potential I'm seeing just looking at this wave. This still could be a three-wave move there. That's 3 waves. This could be some kind of a 3-wave right there. So I could pull the fibs on that structure right there and just be looking at a 3-wave pullback here. Now, you see how I pulled the fibs and we're hitting the 1618? If we start impulsing past the 1618, I'm going to feel really good about continuation to the upside. But if we show signs of rejection here, while the wave comes back down and starts breaking these levels, then we're looking down. We're looking at this as a 3-wave move down at least, or impulse down. See how quickly we can gain direction by pulling fibs? Even if you don't know what the higher time frame is doing, you can at least trade directionally. You know, it's a good scalping strategy if you want to sit here and play on the 1 minute time frame. I wouldn't trade big, but because you see how quickly a wave can look one way and then change another. You got to be patient and wait for your opportunity. But once the market shows its hand, I mean, guys, I said the market just showed its hand go long, and the market did but that just comes with time to know when the market is finally showing its hand. And I had to really work hard at it for a little while here on the 15-minute chart, pulling my fibs on every one of these waves individually, saying, what could that be? What could that be? What could this be? Until finally, I got a bead on it. Finally, they gave me a 3-wave move here, and then they broke this level right there. I'm like, oh, boom, that's it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go with the big wave. And that's exactly what we got. Now, that's not magic, guys. That's not giftedness. That is skill that's been developed. Okay, that means you can develop that skill. It just takes practice. Pulling fibs. And so, at night, sometimes that I'll post charts, I'm just tracking waves, man. I'm just tracking these waves, trying to get a bead on the wave as quickly as I can so we can have trade entries. And I do it till I fall asleep. And that's the problem, because a lot of times I'm tracking, and then I'm falling asleep, and then before I know it, I lose track of the wave, and then the wave makes its move. It reveals itself while I'm sleeping, and it's just like, I can't do anything about that. But it also takes the discipline to be able to sit here and do it. Sit here and track the wave. And not everybody's got that time or knowledge or skill or whatever. This is looking good for an upside wave. What are we waiting for? A break of this high. That's going to be an excellent signal of continuation, at least. At minimum, we look for 3 waves. Now, I can see a couple other possibilities here. Again, this could be an extended 3-wave move. I don't think it is, but it could be. Yeah, we've hit the 1618. We passed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is probably just a little pullback with continuation again. Maybe a deeper wave. You'll notice the 5 waves that we see here. Now, if we back up and look at the higher perspective, the higher time frame perspective, without changing time frames, this could be a five-wave move there. But then if we look at the higher, go to the higher degree, this could be the I always like to find 5 waves in the 3rd wave. Okay, now that it's coming down, I've given you ideas bullishly what it could be if it goes bullish, but this is kind of an interesting wave. It's kind of comes straight down. So what could it be if it's bearish? Well, this could be some kind of a WXY right here. Okay, that just got extended beyond the 1618 and stopped, and that's it. And then so we had a 3-wave down, a 3-wave up that broke the Y. Well, a 3-wave up that came back 90%. We didn't break the high. But if that's 3 down and that's 3 up, what would be next? That's a 3, and if it comes down, what could it be?
5.
Why would it be 5? Why would you think 5? That's the right answer. Why would you think 5? Because you could have a 333.
We hit the 90 retracement.
We hit the 90% retracement. Yep. So we would expect 5 down. And that would be a larger flat. Now, if that's the case, if that happens, number one, we have to be correct as this is being 5. But excuse me, 3. But if that's 3 and that's 3, and we get 5 down, where's the market going after that wave is finished? After this flat finishes. Anybody? Come on.
You would think back up, but it could do more, even more correction sideways, right?
Well, the next wave would be back up. You're right. And so what I would do is I would look at it something like this. That would be my idea. That if this comes down here in 5 waves, I'd be looking for the corrective pocket up here. And now we're just simply doing the same skill on a larger time frame. And we're doing it over and over and over again. There's a trade setup for you guys. That's a trade setup I would post if I saw it, a potential for it. I would say if you get this wave here, you can long that wave with some fairly good confidence. Now trying to look at the big picture, what could that be? Zooming out just a little bit. What could that be? That could be a 3-wave pullback of this impulse. You see? That's possible. That's a trade setup. 2 trades. You got a little scalp trade here. Then you got a bigger trade to the downside. It's possible. Now again, at the end of the day, the market can do whatever it wants to do. This may not play. But it's an idea. And it's a valid idea based on the wave structure that we're seeing. If this shoots up here, right here after making 3 waves and goes up to make a higher high, we know that that was a plausible count. We had a bullish idea, didn't we? We talked about this going up, and making higher highs. So if this goes up from here, this idea gets invalidated and we scrap it and we go on to the bullish count. All right, maybe that's a good place to stop. Because we could just keep doing this to infinitum, man. You could do it over and over and over again. But you see, though, that it's one basic skill with a knowledge set of wave structure. Does that make sense? You got to have the knowledge of the wave structure. So the only thing that gets you that is study and practice. That's it. There's no shortcut. Study and practice. And then you're simply doing is you're pulling fibs, analyzing waves. What is the character of that wave? What kind of wave is this? Impulse, correction, and where does it fit in the bigger scheme as you zoom out and look at it within the context, and you look at the different time frames and you understand, well, this one wave has this character, it's an impulse, but what's it What's it doing in the wave? How's it acting in the wave? And you keep doing that skill over and over and over. Somebody had a question? Maybe? All right, now not every wave is tradable, guys. What you have to do is wait for the market to kind of reveal itself. So would you trade this short down here? I wouldn't. I'd wait for the market to actually prove it to be correct. If the market proves this to be correct, I'd trade this one long. That's the trade. If you wanted to scalp trade something. Because this thing could turn around and go up from here. We only get confirmation when we start breaking these levels here. So if you got long from in this range right here, your breaks at your stops at break even. Let it stop you out. Or take profit up here, and just take your money and call it a scalp trade. Or let it take you out. And if it comes down here, then you go long again. If it comes down in 5 waves, but it's got to come down in 5 waves to give you the confirmation that you're looking for. If it comes down with a different wave structure than you're expecting, then something's wrong. All right, guys. So really nothing to do but to wait and watch the waves and see where it's going, see if we can get a bead on this corrective wave. But if I had to just step back and look at the larger time frame here, I would expect it to come up here and break the high somehow, some way. That's not guaranteed. This could continue impulsing to the downside. This could keep coming down to the downside. Okay, but it's got some structure to play with here first. We're going to have to probably create this flat first, because all these waves are 3 waves. Everything's 3. So that's telling me it's corrective in nature. When you start getting a bunch of 3 waves, it's corrective in nature. Now, the only thing I would challenge, the only thing is it worried? Worried isn't the word. But this wave right here, 618, it got beyond the 618, but it doesn't give me that 5-wave look. It gives me a 3-wave look. But I'm wondering if that's 5 or 3. So that's a question mark in my mind. If it's 3, then I have this flat idea, and we're going up. But if it's 5, somehow it's a 5-wave move, then this is a 3-wave pullback, and this could give me an impulse continuation that could keep making lower lows. That's in the back of my mind as a caution for this trade right here. That the nature of this wave, while it looks 3-wave-ish, it's not necessarily correct. So we're not getting an impulse to the downside here like we would expect to see for a flat, are we? We're getting something else. So I'm feeling less inclined to my flat count. It's not completely invalid, but I don't like it as much. More inclined to my bullish count that I had earlier. Unless this is, as Peter mentioned, this starts getting some kind of complex, wave, and it just starts flagging out. Which tells you something as well. All the wave structures tell you something. The hard part is figuring out what's it telling me. It takes some discipline and some education and some patience, some frustration, banging your head on a wall sometimes, trying to figure it out. Good place to end. I'll give one more opportunity for questions before we call it a day. All right, so I'm not inclined to this count anymore. It's an idea that may or may not play. I like the 1 2 1 2 1 2. I like the big impulsive wave idea. So somehow from here we start moving up. If this idea is correct, we're going to have a 1 2 3 4 5. And it could go up higher than that. So I like that. I like that. It could also get complex on us. I try to think of complex shapes here. Boom, boom, boom. So this is boom, 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 boom. Maybe that, maybe that. All right. So I'm going to watch this count with some active. Hope you guys have a great day.